can watch it back if they want to. Lovely. Okay, cool. Right, so actually I'm going to start on my knees. Oh, and sorry, I'm just going to pop you on mute, babe. Oh, you've already done it. There we are. You're all over it. Thanks, darling. Okay, so yeah, so I wanted just to do a nice little stretch and movement, which kind of focuses on the areas that we worked out in yesterday's session. So let's just start with some nice breathing, and we'll do some shoulder rolls. So when we do our shoulder rolls, I'm going to bring them forward, up to my ears, bring them back and bring them down. And as I bring them forward and up, I'm going to inhale. And then as I bring them back and down, I'm going to exhale. So let's start with number one, going forward, inhale, backwards, down, exhale. Forward, inhale, up to the top, round and down, and up. Last one here, and let's change direction, taking it back, still inhaling on the rise, exhaling on the down. Lovely. And bring your ear over to the shoulder, just stretching out the neck, taking it up and over to the other side. Lift back up, over to side one, and up, and over to side two. Lovely. Bring it back to side one, and we'll just roll it round that front semicircle over to shoulder number two, and then back round the front. So we're just rolling to the front semicircle, and it's so we can stretch out all of the back of the neck. Just gently rocking from one side to the other. Lovely. And then lifting the head back up. Lovely. From here, we'll just do some chest rotation. So really think about like the middle of your chest, and you're going to push it forward. So I'm going to squeeze. I'll just show you this sideways. So if I'm like straight back, I'm going to really push my chest forward. So pull my shoulder blades together at the back, stick my butt out a little bit, really to emphasize it. And then we'll take it the other way. So pelvis tucked under, pushing my middle of the back through, rounding the shoulders. And then open forward again. And out. And again, if you want to do this with breath, we inhale as we push forward. And exhale as we hollow out the body. And take the neck with it as well. So as we push forward, squeeze shoulder blades together, look up, and back, and out. Lovely, good. I'm going to then take this onto all fours. So just having a little reshuffle, bring this up onto all fours. Make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So pushing the hips, pushing the chest down. Tilt the pelvis up. Look up to the sky, squeeze the shoulder blades, breathing in. Exhale all the way. And we're really pulling under, head goes down, pelvis tucked under. Opening it out, breathing it in. And under. And out. And out and under. One more, in. And out. Lovely. And then find yourself back to neutral. From here, I'm going to tuck my toes under at the back, and I'm just going to lift my knees off the floor. So I want to keep my tummy nice and tight. Got a nice straight back. If you feel this is too much pressure on the wrists, feel free to maybe take them into a little fist instead. Sometimes that's a little bit easier. I'm just hovering my knees just slightly above the floor. Lovely. Then from here, I'm going to bring my butt back over my ankles and then start to stretch out my legs into my downward dog facing position. Now, this is the first time I've straightened my legs for the day. So they're not going fully straight. So I'm just going to walk through my legs, just easing into this movement. Lovely, good. Just stretching out the back of the legs. Lovely. Maybe try and tilt the butt up to the sky, push through the armpits ever so slightly, and just be really kind to your body here. You don't need to go to the full, you're just kind of stretching to where it feels good, bending the knees, trying to get the ankles towards the floor, butt towards the sky, armpits towards your toes, but they might not be going to their best position just yet. That's okay. From here, I'm going to take myself up onto my tippy toes. I'm going to round my back and bring my weight forward so I'm landing in my plank position. Now, if to make this a nice gentle one, I'm going to drop my knees down to the floor and untuck my toes. And then I'm going to bend my arms, taking it down, taking my hips down to the floor. And then I'm going to just do a gentle rise up before I lie back down. Lovely, good. From here, I want you to keep your chest as close to the floor as possible. And we're just going to slide our butt back and taking it into our child's pose. So I'm bringing my butt towards my feet and just holding my forehead coming down to the floor, hands outstretched, and just kind of relaxing in this position. Lovely. Lovely. And then gently lifting yourself up, back up towards all fours. Good. So we're just going to go through that little sequence again and hopefully be able to get into it a little bit deeper this time. So we'll start with tucking the toes under, pushing in with our hands and lifting our knees up off the floor. So from here, it will be really kind of tensing your tummy. So you'll be activating your core muscles just by lifting the knees off. Really nice to kind of get everything kind of active in such a simple position. Then we bring our butt up over our feet and then start to straighten out the legs and then walk it through the legs. So just bending one knee at a time. Then maybe keep the knees bent and then try and really focus on getting the shoulders pushing down towards, so like I always imagine that my armpits are trying to reach my toes. So I'm really pushing through my upper back, getting a lovely stretch there. Then I might try and straighten out the legs a little bit more, try and get my ankles down to the floor, and at the same time I'm trying to tilt my butt up and away. So I'm trying to get my tailbone to go up to the sky. So everything, even though it's a static position, everything is moving and pushing my shoulders towards the floor. I've got my ankles trying to push down in one direction, and in the opposite direction, my butt is trying to tilt up and away. Lovely. Getting yourself up onto your tippy toes, rounding the back and taking yourself into your plank position. Now again, you can either drop the knees down again if you wish to, or if you want it to be a little bit more challenging, just bend the arms and then do a gentle lift up with the back. Lovely. Just to get a little bit of the blood pumping. From here, keeping your chest on the floor, sliding it along, trying to keep yourself as close to the floor as possible. And then we're taking ourselves in that child's pose. So bringing our butts down. So tilting the pelvis down. Try and keep your butt attached to your ankles. And forehead goes down onto the floor. While we're in this position, I'm going to take my hands onto spider hands. So I'm just going to bring my pads of my fingers nice and wide. And then I'm going to push up, kind of like I'm Spider-Man. It just gets a nice little stretch in the shoulders. I can kind of push through my shoulders a little bit easier. Lovely. And then relax the hands and arms. Fabulous. Pulling yourself up, we're going to take ourselves through one final sequence of that. So we're going to start on our all fours. I've just got a little dicky wrist, so that's why I keep changing mine to a fist position, but you're welcome to keep it flat if this suits you. I'm just having wrist issues today, old injury. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees off, keeping it nice and strong. Just breathe in here. One more. Lovely. Take the butt over the feet, sorry, straighten out the legs. And again, this time, really tilting the butt up and away, trying to get the ankles down to the floor, pushing the shoulders down, armpits reaching ever closer towards the toes. You're welcome to bend one knee at a time, walk through the legs, whatever feels good. And really think about trying to push your butt up to the sky. Really kind of like pushing your lower back down as much as you can. Lovely, feeling that big stretch in the calves, in the hamstrings, and in the back and the upper shoulders. Lovely, take yourself onto tippy toes, rounding yourself over. And again, if you want to, you can drop those knees down to gently lower yourself down, or bend the arms and lower yourself down, and a little lift. Now, when we're in this little lift, I want you to take your hands just in front of you, and then push in with your hands and feel like you're trying to get your chest to come up and out. So I'm lifting it up and out, and this will be stretching all of my tummy. So all of my front, but mainly thinking about my tummy, getting a good old stretch. Lovely. Relax that back down, bringing the hands just underneath the shoulders, and then slide the chest along the floor and take yourself back into your child's pose position. And as before, you're welcome to take yourself into Spider-Man hands. If that felt good last time, you're welcome to enjoy that again this time. Just be conscious that even though I've got my arms outstretched in front of me, I don't want to have my shoulders next to my ear. So I want to just relax the shoulders, even though they're stretching up and out. I'm relaxing my shoulders so that they are pulling away from my ear, so they're not right next to my neck. Lovely. Fabulous. And then lifting yourself up onto all fours again. This time I'm just going to have a little reshuffle. So I'm really wanting to focus on my butt cheeks now. So I'm going to take one knee forward. Okay, so I'm just sliding a knee forward, and then I'm going to take my back leg behind and sink myself down into my hips. Now, depending on where feels most tight, you might feel it in your hip here, or you might feel it in your butt cheek with the leg that's forward. So for me, I've got my left knee forward, and I feel it in my butt cheek more than in my hip, but you might feel it in your hip here as well. It's just wherever feels tight. Now, if you're a bit like me and find this stretch quite a challenge to get into, I really do, then you can grab yourself some cushions, grab a couple of books, and you want them to go underneath the butt cheek. So let me just grab a cushion so I can show you what I need. Okay, so let me do it this way. So I'm doing my left knee forward. So for me, I can then pop my butt cheek onto the cushion, and this helps to square out my hips. It also makes it slightly gentler on my hip on my right hand side, because it's not going to be as intense. So that's a nice place to pop your cushion. The other thing, if you do find this position absolutely fine to get into, then to make this more challenging in this sort of deeper position, you can take your foot anywhere from near to your groin up to a right angle at a 90-degree angle. Now for me, you can see this isn't the right position for me. It opens my hips out. You want to keep your hips square to the front. So for me to get in this position, I'm going to be all the way up here, and I need a lot of cushions. So this just isn't the stretch that I can't get into that stretch, but you might be able to. But it's just finding the right position. The further your foot goes out, the deeper the stretch will be for your glute. And it's also about balancing where you can get whilst keeping your hips square, facing in the direction of your chest, okay? So again, you can use cushions to help to keep those hips square by just putting them under that butt cheek. And this is me in my best. I'm afraid I'm going to have to give my foot right in next to my groin. That's just the way that my hips are. So while we're in this position, I'm then just going to fold myself forward. I'm going to try and bring my chest up and over. And then I'm going to relax my forehead down to the floor, sinking into this big, big, beautiful stretch. Feeling it in my hips, feeling it in my butt cheek. Lovely, and just relaxing here. And breathing. And I like to really visualize and think about my breath as like a color, as like a liquid. So today I think I might go for like a gold kind of liquid. So as I'm inhaling, I think about all of like my gold liquid breath gathering, and then as I exhale, I visualize it flooding the area that feels tension. So for me, it's in my butt cheek on my left hand side. So I imagine as I exhale, the liquid, the gold sparkly liquid flooding that area. Lovely. 2 more big breaths here, breathing it in, exhaling. Lovely, so you can get a little bit deeper. Fabulous. And then gently, 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 you're going to lift yourself back up and out of that position. Lovely. Now, what I want us to do from here is bring your butt round, so you're then facing square to the front, and bring your other knee in. So you're kind of like you're cross-legged, but I've not got them crossed. I've just got one foot in front and then the other one. Now, I've done my left knee forward in my pigeon stretch. So in the stretch we've just done, so I'm keeping my left knee at the front. And again, I want to make sure that I'm nice and my pelvis is neutral. So if I'm finding myself rolling under, grab that cushion again and pop it underneath your butt so it lifts your hips higher. By lifting your hips higher, it just enables you to get into the right stretch, so you're not stretching out your lower back. So if you do find yourself this, you want to be lifting up, straightening out. So from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to fold ourselves forward, bring our hands down, try and keep your back as straight as you can, and you should feel the stretch coming down the side, particularly in the left knee. If you've got left knee forward, you should feel that coming down the side of the thigh and into the butt cheek on the left hand side. If you can bring your forehead down to the floor, that's absolutely fabulous. Don't worry if you're not quite there, just easing towards it. Taking a big deep breath in, exhaling, feeling the muscle relax, lengthen, release any tension. Is that right? Big deep breath in, exhale. And once more, breathing it in, exhale. Lovely. And gently lifting yourself back up. Good. From here, I'm going to lean over onto my left butt cheek to release my right knee. And then I'm going to take my right knee and pop it at the side. So I'm going to have like I'm like in my right angle. So my leg coming out at the front comes right in front of me and then is at a right angle here. I'm at a right angle with my right knee, and then my right knee is also at a right angle. So it's kind of like a stagged position. Okay, so when I'm here, I want to try and keep myself square towards the front so that I'm staying focused at the front. And again, if this is difficult, grab that, pop it underneath your butt cheek so that you can keep your hips a little bit squarer. So if you need any blocks or cushions, feel free to do so. Now, what I want us to do when we're in this position, I want to first, we're going to like roll ourselves forward, try and keep yourself square forward, and just bring yourself slightly leaning in. You should feel a stretch in this butt cheek, the same one that we've just been stretching. Lovely. So we're just holding it here. Not too far forward. I'm just like leaning into it. And then what I want us to do from here, we're going to flex up that front foot. So this is a little bit more activated. And then I'm going to push my knee down into the floor. We're going to push down for 10 seconds. Are you ready? So pushing, so using my muscles, push my knee into the floor, pushing, pushing, pushing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Release the muscle contraction and then fold yourself forward and just use the weight of your chest, if you can, to push down. If it feels too much of a stretch, then use your arm instead. So you use your arm to lean down onto it. I quite like the chest a little bit more, so I'm just going to fold my chest forward. You might be able to bring your forehead down to the floor if you can. That's great. Just enjoying this beautiful stretch in that butt cheek. Maybe you might feel it a little bit in the hamstring here. And I really find that this stretch helps to get into that really niggly place that's kind of like the muscle that wraps next to your sitting bones, so it's called your ischium, and it's such a difficult muscle to stretch, but this just seems to get it right in the right spot for me. Lovely. One more breath here. Big deep breath in, exhaling it out, and then when you're ready, gently lifting yourself up. Fabulous stuff. Good. And then bringing the knees together. And let's switch over to the other side. So this time we're going to start with our pigeon pose. So taking yourself upright and then slide one knee forward. Try and keep your hips square and then sink your hips down. And again, you might feel a bit of a stretch in the left-hand hip flexor. If that's the case and you don't want to stretch it as much, or you're finding it difficult, you're finding yourself opening yourself out to the side, grab that cushion or your books, or if you've got a block, even better, and pop it under your right butt cheek. And as we mentioned before, if you would like to deepen this stretch, you can take your foot out wider, taking it all the way up to a right angle. If that works for you, just be careful you're not opening out. Like for me, I'm opening out. I want to be keeping myself square to the front. So for me, that doesn't quite work right, but you can, you might feel quite comfortable doing that. So just whatever works best for you. So knees facing forward, settling into the hips. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to fold ourselves forward, leaning over that front knee, relaxing out. Maybe you can bring your forehead down to the floor here. Just feeling that beautiful stretch down the right side into the butt cheek. Lovely, and just breathing. And again, let's use that visual aid to help us deepen that stretch. So I'm still sticking with my breath being gold, but you might pick another color. Whatever color feels right for you today is the perfect color. And as we exhale, it's going to flood and wash all of the area that we feel any tension in. So let's take a big inhale and then exhale. Lovely, and just let it flood the area, washing away any tension. Inhaling, exhaling. One more here. Lovely. And then gently bring the hands underneath towards the shoulders and lift it up. Fabulous. Bringing yourself onto the butt cheek, opening yourself out, and then taking yourself to the front like you're in a cross-legged position, but keeping your, again, for me, it was my right knee at the front, so I'm going to keep my right foot at the front, and the other one is just released underneath, okay? So there's no crossing over. I can't even think how I would once cross my legs. Taking a nice big deep breath, lengthening the spine, drawing up. If you're conscious that you're noticing your pelvis naturally roll under, grab that cushion, pop it underneath your butt cheek to raise up your hips, and this will just help you to not to roll under, so that you can actually target the right muscles rather than stretching out the lower back, because that's not what we're stretching right now. So we're in this position, drawing up, folding yourself over. Lovely. And you might feel it on both sides, but you should certainly feel it more dominant on the leg that's at the front. You should feel it coming down the side and into the back of the butt cheek. As you breathe and relax, you might even be able to bring your forehead down to the floor in front of you. And just breathing and feeling that muscle start to relax, start to release tension. Lovely. One more breath here. And then gently, gently lifting yourself up, back upright. Lovely. Lean yourself over, onto your right butt cheek to release your left leg, and then we're going to take ourselves into that stacked position. So my front leg is at a right angle, so right angle like so. I'm at a right angle in my hips, so I've got one leg coming out the front, one leg directly coming out the side, and then this leg's also at a right angle because it's going out directly behind. It's not out straight or in tucks next to my butt. It is at a right angle as well. So all the right angles. Again, try and keep yourself square to the front. If you find yourself rolling in, then you might want to re-grab your cushion and pop it underneath that butt cheek just to lift them hips and help keep them square. I think I might keep that in place for me. And we're just going to begin with drawing ourselves up and folding ourselves forward. Don't go all the way down. We're just going to lean into it, just to start that stretch going. Lovely. Feeling it coming down the side into the butt cheek. You might feel this slightly in the hamstring maybe, but mainly in the on the side of the leg, on the outside of the thigh. Lovely. Then we're going to make sure that this foot is flexed, so the front foot is flexed up. This helps better engage the muscle. And then what I want you to do is imagine you're using your muscles, so use your muscles to imagine that you're trying to get your knee to push down to the floor. I'm going to hold it for 10 seconds. Are we ready? So let's engage, pushing down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep pushing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Lovely. So we don't need to control or contract anymore. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, fold yourself forwards. Lovely. And I encourage either putting your hand on it, using the weight of your hand to push it down to deepen the stretch, or if you can, bring your chest down to deepen the stretch. Blimey, this is really tight this side for me. Lovely. And you might be able to bring your forehead down to the floor. Great, if that feels comfortable. Well, if that feels like it's deepening the stretch, comfortable is perhaps not the right word I'd use for this. But you want it to get to a point of mild discomfort, just strengthening, lengthening, releasing any tension in that butt cheek. Big exhales. Every time you exhale, I want you to feel like you're actually deepening the stretch, feeling like you're able to get into it more than you were before. Lovely. Couple more breaths here. Lovely, good. And gently, gently, gently lifting yourself back up. Really nice. And then bringing yourself wherever feels comfortable. I'm going to take myself onto my knees like I'd start to get off. Really good, really nice. I hope you can feel that as much as I can. That's certainly had a really big, beautiful stretch for me. Lovely. I'm actually going to end with stretching our triceps because we use them quite a lot in our push-ups. We re-engage them when we're going down through their little motions before. So I'm going to bring my hand onto my shoulder. I want to be really conscious that I'm keeping my pelvis tucked under in this position. I do find it easier when I'm sat down, but basically when I do this stretch, it's really common to arch your back. Keep the pelvis under, nice and neutral, so that it doesn't overstretch in the wrong direction. So I'm hanging on shoulder. I'm going to push my knee, that's the different joint. Push my elbow up to the sky. And again, just conscious, keeping myself back. It's really easy to be like, oh, I'm just going to deepen my stretch, but I want you to keep the pelvis neutral. You might want to find it to take it a little bit deeper, to take your hand over the top. So then pulling the elbow back. And again, to take it deeper still, you're welcome to take it behind your head and then push your head back into it. Lovely. Release the top hand and then let's see if we can reach towards them. Maybe reach and try and grab our fingers together at the back. Give them a little pull down. Maybe it doesn't feel like it's really hitting the right spot for you. Don't worry if that's the case. You can take it back to one of the previous positions. Lovely. And relax. And let's switch it over to the other side. Hand on shoulder. Gently reaching the elbow, pointing it up to the sky. Hand comes to the middle of the back. Lovely. I actually find it just really hits the spot right here, but if it feels that you want to take it deeper, you can take your hand over onto behind you and gently pull it back that way instead. Lovely. Remember to keep that pelvis neutral. It does have a tendency to wander around. We're not focused. And then take the hand at the elbow behind the head. Push your head back into it. You can deepen that stretch still. Lovely. And then let's just see if we can reach behind. Maybe grab the fingers at the back. Don't worry if they're not quite grabbing. That's okay. And you can pull down if that does feel good. Or return to one of the previous stages, hand on the elbow or next to the armpit, wherever kind of felt like it really hit the right spot for you. Lovely. And relax. Lovely. Good. Let's end with some shoulder rolls and our breath, the same way that we started. So let's do some rolls forward, big inhales. Exhaling it down. Take it through the full range, as high as you can, as far back as you can, as low as you can. One more this way. And let's change direction, taking it back, around and up. Last one. Lovely. Taking yourself nice, lengthening the spine, lifting yourself up, ear over to one shoulder. Keep the shoulders back and down. Up, over to the other side. Back up to side number one. Over to side number two. And then let's do that little roll again. So bring the ear to one shoulder, gently roll around the front semicircle over to the next shoulder, and then just easing it back through the front again. I like to just roll around the front because I tend to find that we hold a lot of our tension in the back of our neck. So it's just giving this opportunity to massage and relax and stretch out, releasing any tension, any anxiety we might be holding here. Lovely. And then from here, I'm going to just take my head directly down. I'm going to interleave my fingers at the top, and I'm just going to place my hands on top. I'm not going to push down. I'm just using the weight of my hands just to deepen that stretch a little bit more for me. Lovely. And relax, and we're done. We've done a lovely little movement. Hopefully you feel a nice big stretch, particularly in your butt, but obviously nice to have moved everywhere and feel them big stretches. Good work.